Hello all, Dominic here again. Welcome to another video. I hope you're all okay today and I hope you're having a nice week so far. So today's video is going to be something video game related, and I originally wasn't going to be talking about this, but due to recent news of a certain game being delisted but also having its online component removed, or shut down I should say, I wanted to actually talk about this with games that have this and sort of physical media and offline gaming. So I want to sort of, share my thoughts and, talk about it, because obviously it is quite important for older games to have a proper future that can still be playable and are still available for people to play. So what was this game that recently had its offline mode shut down, but also was recently delisted? That game was DriveClub. Now, DriveClub, obviously, it's a racing game. It was made by Evolution Studios, and it was a PlayStation 4 exclusive. Now, I know many people didn't like this game, but there were a lot of people that liked it, and it was actually a really, really fun game. I always loved my races. They're just really, really fun, and I think it's just it was unfortunate that this game was sort of forgotten by most people. Highly underrated. It really, really is, and it was really unfortunate that it never got a PS4 Pro patch, because it would have been awesome to see that. But also the studio was, shut down many years ago. So because of that, obviously, recently we got the news that this game was delisted off PlayStation Store, but also the offline mode was shut down. Now, the biggest problem with most games that have come out, whether it's a couple of years ago or several years ago, is that many games don't have a sort of major offline mode. And because of that, it sort of gives those games a short lifespan in the future, because we all know with online-only games, they've got no offline mode, the server shut down, that game, you're saying bye-bye to it. It's no longer available and you can't play it anymore. And even though some of those games have a physical copy, they're pretty much worthless. You can't use them. The thing that makes DriveClub lucky on that side is there are physical copies available, whether it's used or new copies, and it has an offline mode. So if you want to play the single player or the multiplayer offline, you can do that, which is great. But with many games that have come out, they don't have that luxury. They just don't. Many games such as Titanfall, Fallout 76, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, Sea of Thieves, Super Mario Maker 1 and 2, I think that's it, I can remember. Oh, Battleborn even, you know what I mean? Overwatch. There's so many games that have come out in the last couple of years that have offline modes, that have no offline modes, and you can't, play them. Final Fantasy 11 even, you know what I mean? That was an online-only game on PlayStation 2 and Xbox 360, you know what I mean? Had its offline, had the server shut down about 4 years ago, you know what I mean? Which is insane. And games like that are really, really the big problem, because once a server shut down, you can no longer access that. Now, I have played a few online-only games within the past couple of years, and there are some that are really, really fun, and there's some that are okay, you know what I mean? But I would never, ever buy them at the full, £50 price, because they're not worth that. The few online-only games I've purchased are either very old games where you can only find used copies, but the servers are still available, or if there's a huge sale on, or in Fallout 76 case, the game is very, very unpopular at first, people are not interested, and physical copies decline like that in sale. And that's the only time I ever do purchase those games. And I think, for example, Titanfall, because I played that on the Xbox One, it's a really, really fun game, and it still puzzles me why there was never an offline mode included. And I did buy that game when it was quite old. I bought it for about £5 back in 2018, so I did. because I was like, I want to play this, and it looks awesome. And it was fun. It really, really was. Pardon me. But I was glad that they did add a single-player mode, or an offline mode, I should say, with Titanfall 2, which is awesome. And I know there are some online-only games that are quite popular in the last few years. I know you've got Fortnite. You've got that game, which has been going on for a couple of years. But there are other games that don't have that sort of popular status, and they end up going bye-bye, and you can't play them. I know you had Battleborn, which is similar to like Overwatch, and that game was pretty much forgotten by most people, but there's people that still play that game. Interestingly enough, the online mode is still available for that, and is actually going to be shutting down in February next year. It was announced a couple of months ago that the game's going to be shutting down in February 2021. So we've got a good amount of time left, but we all know that game is going to be offline. It's just the biggest problem, and it's just it just kills it. And it's just how it is for most developers, where they want to focus on the online mode rather than the offline mode. This is why most people don't like the fact when certain games come out, like, I want to play that, but there's no offline mode. It's just the biggest killer. You look at Call of Duty Black Ops 3 on PS3 and 360, and yes, I played both versions. Those games, or the version, those two games, Black Ops 3 on the PS3 and 360, those two versions of that game are quite limited, because all you've got is the zombies mode and the online mode, and that's it. The game obviously was too weak to actually be playable on not the game. The PS3 and 360 was so weak, which is understandable because they're like 9 to 10 year old hardware, to get Black Ops 3 to run on it. So what ended up happening was I forgot who developed it now. I know it wasn't Activision. I think they hired a different company or whatever. They tried to get the full game, the campaign mode, on PS3 and 360. It wasn't possible because the hardware was so anemic. You know what I mean? But they tried to squeeze as much money as they could out of those two consoles. And like I said, I did play it on PS3 and the 360, but I didn't pay like 40 quid for it when it came out. I paid a lot cheaper. So I did. Because I wanted to try it. I laid a Wii U at the time, so as well as a 360 and a PS3. So yeah, but I did eventually play it on Xbox One, and it is a better game. Obviously, it's a better proper version. But you look at it, like Black Ops 3 will last forever. Black Ops on the PS4, Xbox One, and PC. For 360 and PS3, that won't happen because again, it has a limited amount of content that makes that version that version of the game worth it. You know what I mean? It's just the biggest problem. It really, really is. And I do wish that more and more games do have an offline mode, which some do. But obviously, they're going to come to a point where they're going to get rid of the offline mode and they're just going to make an online-only game. It's like Black Ops 4 when that came out. I wanted to play that. I wanted to try it out. Even though I'm not a biggest fan of Call of Duty, I wanted to play it and try it out. Never bought it because it was online only. I'm like, I'm not buying that. You know what I mean? It's just how it is. You got Gran Turismo Sport when that came out on PlayStation 4. Again, same thing. When it first came out in October 2017? Yeah, 2017. 2017. I think I got that date wrong. I think it was 2017. Because remember, it came out my uncle's birthday at the time. So when it came out, it was online only. And I didn't know this at the time. When it came out, I was like, this game looks awesome. Until I heard it was offline. It was online only. I was like, what? Why is it online only? So I refused to buy it. So I did. Then months later, they announced they were bringing an offline mode to it. And I thought, okay, that's piqued my interest. So I did eventually buy it. And it will, you know what I mean? So I could play it and stuff. That's what makes people interested with certain games. Because if certain games come out, you think, these look really, really good, and there's no offline mode on it, people are not going to buy it. You know what I mean? Yeah, you'll have the die-hard fans that will buy it. But most people will say, no, I'm not touching it. If you added an offline mode to it, yeah, I would have bought it. But because you don't, no. You know what I mean? No, I'm not buying that. And that's just how it is. And it kills it for many, many games. Because we've seen games that have come out from years ago, you know, online only, bye-bye to it. Just how it is. You know what I mean? Biggest problem. And this is why physical copies and having offline modes in games is very, very important, because it keeps games like this alive forever. You know what I mean? Where you could go to a video game store, look online, and buy a copy and keep forever, give it to your friends, sell it, trade it in whatever you want, you know what I mean? And this copy will last forever. You know what I mean? And that is the truth of physical games and online only modes. Or offline modes, I should say. This is why it's important. It really, really is. If this game was online only, you couldn't play it, it would be worthless. But because of the fact it has an offline mode, I can keep playing this game as long as I want. And that is a good thing. So yeah, I just want to say I hope you enjoyed today's video. I hope you found it interesting. I know it sounds a bit like, you know, a bit I'm trying to think the word now. Patriotic, if you understand. I don't mean it sound like that, but it's just the truth with games like this. This is why having physical copies and having games with offline modes is very, very important. It really, really is. So yeah. So anyway, I just want to say thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's video. I'll be back tomorrow, so I will be. So I'll see you all then, and enjoy the rest of your day. See you all later on. Bye.